Woman and man, them they work for money. Agbero dey for junction, they collection. The conductor driver, they work for money. Agbero dey for bus stop, they call. Then I want give get to manja. Government bad, oh. Then I want give get to manjabo. My God, oh, cause if I get home and I get work, my brother now how him go take survive, oh. Our government bad, oh. Then I want give get to manjabo. My God, oh, cause if I get home and I get work, my brother now how him go take survive, oh. Hey, the government that we good. At least I mean the one we poor man picking make we all die in vain. The reason getting rich and why the poor man a die. Each and every day we remain the same. Our government bad, oh. Then I want give get to manjabo. My God, oh, cause if I get home and I get work, my brother now how him go take survive, oh. Hey, our government bad, oh. Then I want give we get to manjabo. My God, oh, cause if I get home and I get work, my brother now how him go take survive, oh. Hey, inside Molu where we be 148, 49 sitting and 99 standing. See human being as we back like sanding, laughing and smiling is sign romanticism. Woman and man, them they work for money. Agbero dey for junction, they collection. The conductor driver, they work for money. And bad, oh. My God, oh, cause if I get home and I get work, my brother now how him go take some. Government bad, oh. Then I want give get to man. If I get home and I go take survive, oh. I go down wow inside the police station. Some prisoners when them they inside the station. Some of them are caught by wrong information. Take them to court and give them execution. Oh, what a go on in a destination. Oh no.
So persons, if you're still not hearing, please indicate to me. I don't know something about my audio this evening again. That is going to give me some problems.
How we go take survive, oh. Our government bad, oh. Then I want give get to manjabo. My God, oh, cause if I get home and I get work, my brother now how we go take survive, oh. Our government bad, oh. Then I want give you get to manjabo. My God, oh, cause if I get home and I get work, my brother now how we go take survive, oh. Our government bad, oh. Then I want give get to manjabo. My get work, my brother now how we go take survive, oh. Some in the one we poor man picking make we all die in vain. The reason getting richer why the poor man a die. Each and every day we remain the same. Our government bad, oh. Then I want give we get. Our government bad, oh. My God, oh, cause if I get home and I get work, my brother now how him go take survive. See nice standing, human being smiling is. The collection, the conductor driver, they work for money. Agbero dey for bus stop, the collection, the my God them bad, oh. Then I want give get to manjabo. My God, oh, cause if I get home and I get work, my brother now how him go take survive, oh. Our government bad, oh. Then I want give we get to manjabo. My God, oh, cause if I get home and I get work, my brother now how him go take survive, oh. Our government bad, oh. Then I want give get to manjabo. My God, oh, cause if I get home and I get work. work, my brother, now how we go take survive. Oh, hey, the government they wicked. At least I mean them want we poor man picking make we all dying.
Pleasant good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so let's see whether or not you might be able to hear me now. Now that we have dropped the volume just a little bit, just indicate to me what you guys are getting now. And somebody saying lots of feedback. I would want to know what you guys are getting now because I am getting from my feed. I'm getting a high pitch in terms of the audio, and I don't know whether or not you guys will now be hearing me because I would have just made a slight change to the audio, and I'm hoping that that would change a lot. Yeah. So if you're hearing now, all right. So persons are stating that they're hearing loud and clear now. So now I want to believe that you guys should be getting something a little bit different and a little bit better. So once you are, just indicate to me. Right. So you guys are hearing loud and clear now. All right. So once persons are stating that they're hearing loud and clear, this is definitely what I want. Yes. I think I will have to keep that setting that I have now. It definitely changes a lot. All right. So with so many times that have already been wasted, I don't want to keep you guys waiting any much longer. All right. Somebody saying yes, a little better, much better. All right, loud and clear. All right. So once we're getting that information, yes, I am quite aware that you guys are not seeing me, so you should be seeing me now. Yeah, I was just wanting to ensure that the audio, the camera and everything is good. The camera and everything is good. You guys are going to see my handsome face in a short while, right? Should be seeing it on now, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to jump straight into the nitty-gritty of the matter this afternoon. I am happy that you guys could have been here to assist me, and I didn't have to do it on my own. You see, sometimes things happen for the better, yeah. Because if I was just doing it on my own, I would have had to wait, and that is what happened this evening. We made some changes to the audio and some settings and so on. We decided to update, but I realized it was really not an issue as it relates to updating, but it's just a matter of changing certain settings because my mic and everything. If you guys are you guys getting a feedback? If you guys are getting a feedback, then um, let me know. All right, so you should be seeing and hearing me now, and you should be seeing and hearing me clearly. Yeah, I think we would have just placed the wrong setting on that, and I really want to thank let me see if I right. So I think I get the source of the matter now. I think I really got the source of the matter. All right, somebody's telling me no. All right. So you guys are hearing and seeing me now. Yeah? I'm thinking that should be a little bit better now. All right? If I go any higher, you guys would be getting a feedback. All right? So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say a pleasant good afternoon and welcome to another class in session program right here with yours truly, Royalty James. Somebody saying that I'm singing a little bit muffled. I want to get this thing so clear. All right. So I'm Brother Clive, so I'm sounding good. Yeah? Basically, that's what I'm getting. All right? I want to say a pleasant good afternoon to the persons this evening. I want to send out a special good afternoon to the persons out there in the diaspora, especially to the persons out there in the United States. I want to say a pleasant good evening to each and every one of you guys. You guys have been a source of support to not just my program, to many programs. And we really want to extend from many persons a heartfelt thank you. Sorry about that. We want to send a heartfelt thank you to the many persons that have been supporting out there in the diaspora. Give yourself a lusty round of applause and a sincere bow. Yesterday, we would have seen made public the million views that Sister Jenny would have obtained, right? And indeed, this speaks volume, ladies and gentlemen. This speaks volume, right? Um, in itself, it speaks to the mere fact that there are persons listening, whether or not 10% or 25% be of persons who are there to make mayhem. It means that there are persons that are willing to listen and hear. Yes, you guys might be wondering, well, okay, we know what is Sister Jenny's viewing. Yes, let me say to you, I am successfully at present in more than 5 point something 5,000 views. Yes, when we go over to Brother Sheldon, he should be around the same amount or even more. So persons have been viewing. Persons are actually listening. Yes, and a lot of persons, if you look over on Facebook, you notice that there's a lot of persons who don't view on Facebook. And we have gotten to notice that there are a lot of persons that we are protecting you guys. Yes, we are protecting you guys in terms of, okay, if you're viewing on Facebook, persons are going to look at your page and see who's viewing. So here's what we're not saying to stop view on Facebook, the persons who have the Facebook access, but jump over to YouTube and go ahead and subscribe. Yes, subscribe. Yes, if you miss a program, watch it, send it to a friend, because we want the message and messages to go. Don't forget, tomorrow evening, out there in Bylands, we start our meetings, right? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to start this evening's program by sharing a echoed sentiment that I want you guys to pay close attention to. Now, what you would hear regularly is only NNP people that is talking. Only NNP people that believe that there is a problem in Grenada. You know why? Because only NNP understands the significance of governance. Now, we have heard of many other little institutions and institutes and non-governmental organizations, churches and all kind of entities that were so vocal during the tenure of the new National Party, being able to openly get involved in issues of the state. Ladies and gentlemen, what we are seeing now, it is not a proud moment for democracy in Grenada. The level of hush syndrome that is happening in Grenada is both frightening and concerning. Because let me say this to you. A proud people is a patriotic people. Yeah? If you're proud and excited about something that is happening or something that is being done, it would be shared among the nook and crannies of many. From the cleaner on the street to the gentleman sitting in his high office, they would sing praises. Now, if you look around and you listen, you would realize that there is a handful of persons that constantly would share should I put it, a miscellaneous concept that Grenada is at a better place. We have a present issue within the state surrounding government official and the visa conversation. Now, I don't know if you guys understand clearly the seriousness of this issue. Many times we hear things and we believe to ourselves, well, it don't concern me, so let's leave it alone. Ladies and gentlemen, this conversation is a serious one. This conversation is being seen by many Caribbean islands as a major step to what we are not seeing as it relates to the Citizen by Investment Program. The concept of Cuba and all the other conversation is what is going to headline it. But for many of us who understands and knows better, should see what is really happening here. Now, a bold statement was made by our dear sister in recent days. And sometimes when others speak, we need to understand, well, why was that statement made so blatantly? Because in recent days, the president, the prime minister of Barbados, openly said that Barbados' passport is not for sale. Now, that statement in itself secured and reassured the international world, especially the United States, that they are not going to be involved in passport selling. And for those of you who want to hear it yourself, let me play it for you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we may look at this statement as, mere just making a statement to reassure her people that, hey, we're not selling passport. But ladies and gentlemen, don't joke with that statement. Don't joke with what was said by this individual. It was said on the 17th of August, days after the news release came out concerning Grenada's barring. There are many countries within the Caribbean that are presently involved in the CBI program. Let me say to you, Uncle Donald is not taking it easy. And by any means necessary, by whatever concept he believes that he can get to a country, he's going to do so. I reminded you guys as it relates to the territories in which Grenada is selling our passports and in nationalities in whom we're selling passports to. Take into consideration there's a lot of countries out there that are in some way or the other affiliated with countries in which the American government, yes, is seeking to place some form of asylum or some form of tariff or whatever it is on them. Now, when Grenada integrates or amalgamates with them, it will pose a problem for us. So when we talk about the visa restriction to the officials is concerning Cuba regime, that old talk. Yeah? You know, before when your mother want to beat you and she realized that you're not really doing anything that is so detrimental, even if you lose a pin, she would find a way to cut your skin. And ladies and gentlemen, this is what is happening. Now, what is saddening about all this is that within all this administration is still attempting to not be truthful to the Grenadian public. Now, I don't know if you have heard, but our foreign minister would have stated that they have not received any formal document from the United States concerning that allegation. Now, if you're stating that you have gotten no formal documents, why did you still make it public that as a government you're attempting to rectify the issue? So if you have not received an official document, black and white, answer me why and what are you fixing? Just take a listen to this bit of news release. Persons are stating that they're not hearing now they're not hearing you're not hearing the audio, you're not hearing the music. A while ago the music was good, but let's try to work on that. Seems like this evening is one of the evenings for me. Because it is stated that they're not hearing. Alright, well, even if you're not hearing the audio that is being played, I'm telling you, if it's not one problem, it's the next. Because a while ago, I am certain that you guys will get in the audio very well, right? Yeah? I'm certain that you guys will get in the audio very well. And at this stage, persons are complaining that they're not hearing the audio. Yeah? Alright, well, let's just continue the conversation and guess that's something else we might have to jump into. Alright? Input, right? Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, as I was saying, now basically the clip that was being played is one of the clips that is coming out from Carib News Update. Yes, yeah, forget the audio. Yeah, I think so too. Right? That is coming from the Carib News Update. That speaks to the foreign minister or foreign minister claiming that they did not receive any formal document from the US government. However, ladies and gentlemen, the Grenadian government made it abundantly clear to our Grenadian people that they are presently working to rectify the issue that they are presently facing in the United States. So my thing is, if you did not receive a formal document or any form of formal documentation, yes, what it is that you are in conversation about, right? Because the public statement by the government of Grenada on August 14 says, the government of Grenada has taken note to a recent press statement issued by the United States Department of State. No formal documentation. The Minister of Foreign Affairs is actively engaged with the authorities of the United States through establishment diplomatic channels in addressing this matter. We assure the people of Grenada that your government is attending to this situation with utmost responsibility and in the best interest of the nation. We urge the public to be guided by official information issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as we will provide further updates on the issue. Now, ladies and gentlemen, from August 14, when that release came out, to reset, we heard nothing thus far. No update has come from the government of Grenada thus far surrounding that information. And I want you guys to see something here. Realize how quickly they would have stepped on the issue of barred visa restriction when it comes to their officials. It did not involve the public, the general public. It involves them, or it involved them. And realize how quickly they have since responded, because they do not want to be on the back end of the stick. Now remember, when the same United States start with the deportation process, and many Grenadians shed the concern, asking governments, well, with so many of our nationals that are being sent back, some of them who have criminal records, that are going to be among our young men and young women and persons within the state, they were very vague and very set aside. Don't care if you want to use the word, when it comes to the general public asking, well, what it is that government is doing concerning what we're hearing coming out from the United States as relates to deportation. As I said, they were very low-key, very taken aback. Well, not taken aback, very laid back when it comes to that conversation. But realize now the haste and the thriving movement, yeah? Because now what is happening, it is involving their friends, themselves, and their family. And ladies and gentlemen, this is this kind of government's way of governing. Unless it does not personally involve me, I don't care. As long as it does not affect my immediate constituency or ministry or area, I don't care. The Prime Minister was asked as it relates to there are persons who are questioning him leaving the state prior to a probable hurricane, not a probable hurricane at the time. He said, well, they could feel how they want. I don't care. When the Prime Minister was asked, well, you were overseas and there were 2 persons kidnapped and killed, allegedly. Well, no, not allegedly. It happened. Because they were sentenced. Guys was plead guilty. Yeah? When asked about that, he said, well, I didn't want to make any commotion, more or less in a nutshell. I didn't want to give tribe to that. When asked about issues concerning his ministers and parliamentary rep, but what they're posting on Facebook, they don't know nothing about that. They are always into the I don't know and I don't have to answer. And then somebody saying he would give information, as he said, on a need to know basis. Right? So realize that it must first affect those persons. It must affect them in order to let it happen or get it to happen. So now the Minister of Foreign Affairs is with all arms pushing forward. And as I saw somebody posted today, he's too weak for that conversation. He is too weak for that conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, don't look at this conversation here of this Cuban regime and it is Cuban regime conversation. This is a wool pulled over what the true intention is from the United States. After an administration boasted that billions of dollars were made available to this nation through CBI, the international world immediately realized the probable effect within our country. Immediately. America, who always feels threatened by persons going into other countries and seeking asylum and passport in order to travel into their countries. That is what they're seeing. So we weren't saying here that the previous CBI program was perfect, but still there was a level of understanding when it comes to the international sovereignty. Persons understood the assignment. We can just give a Russian, if we understand the issue that is happening between Russia and America. We can just give a Chinese, if we understand the issues that are happening between China and America. And all the international world in which you can travel to and do whatever and fly back and go there. This Cuban issue and conversation is a make-believe to them. This, ladies and gentlemen, falls directly into what we were speaking about as it relates to the CBI program, whereby at one point in time, it was being placed on a table, just come in and buy one and go. And so, Mia's recent statement, and I just say you didn't hear you guys wasn't hearing the audio, but Mia Motley in our recent statement clearly mentioned that the Barbados passport is not for sale and they're not going to sell their citizen. Few days after the conversation of Grenada's restriction. Why do you think she's mentioning it? Why do you think that is being echoed? Why do you think that other countries within the Caribbean are mentioning it? They understand what is happening. This is an administration that is of the belief that you can join ties all over the place and build relationships just like that in order to be able to get a little grant. As I said to you guys yesterday, if you look at Grenada, Grenada reminds me of a country that is on aid, or a child or a family that is on aid. Yes, you see their livelihood being rotated day by day, but the fact remains, ladies and gentlemen, the fact is a lot of the finances, a lot of the things that are happening in Grenada is not happening through the process of government being able to push economically to raise funds and other things in order to get things done within the state. Other countries, other areas are playing significant roles within our country. Look at what I'm telling you guys. And I'm going to remind you guys later on down the road. There's a lot of things that are happening here in Grenada that is not being financed, not being pushed by Grenada and Grenada's government. Funds that are being raised, finances that are being spent in areas that is not being done by our government. Because ever so often, when a financial report is released, there is a decrease in something somewhere. It means that our country is not sufficing its own. We are making hand-to-mouth funding we're doing here. Whatever we make is to pay salaries, pay bills, and all the other things. Nothing extra. Whenever so often you hear some way that a grant come out some way, and a this come out some way, and a that come out some way. Look at the kind of projects that are happening. Look at the kind of relations in which those things are happening. Speak to me, ladies and gentlemen. Give me 1, 2, 3 things that this government here, within our state, with our Grenadian tax monies, other than increasing their very own salary, what have they been injecting? And it has kept afloat. Ever so often, you hear issues that relate to the school feeding program. Something that we believe government should be able to take up the mantle so easily. Go about it. See how many projects in Grenada. If the government previous did not leave it, ask them the question. How many that they have initiated? Funds by their government and their governance. Ask them the question. In the comment section, somebody saying the increased smartphone sale, the numerous travels, the secret Nigerian meeting, the findings of oil by Columbus, the situation with the Nigerians on Iran who has Grenadian citizenship, has heavily invested in our oil and gas, the Dubai relationship, and the massive amount of corruption occurring within the bowels of the government. Yes, they mentioned 2 names, Deacon Handy, and them others, the Deke Crane Grenada, where Grenadians making bacchanal about absence of flag on someone's production. Ladies and gentlemen, see the bigger picture. A lot of documents signing, bills passing. And every time a bill is passed, you hear, it's not we, it's the previous administration. I can't, and every day, ladies and gentlemen, I try to understand this. Ever so often when this is mentioned, I try to understand this. 23 years. An administration carelessly, did nothing with the country's money. Deke Cray, in the words that was just used. Our economy. That is a story written by them for Grenadians. But in one of the very first reports given by our Prime Minister, it seemed very alarming, and not in a bad way. Very alarming when he saw the monies at the treasury. Very alarming. That was the very first surprise. The monies within the treasury. The second attempt to bring bad name to government, they came about and they tried to speak on, Oh, there were so many projects in the pipeline. When they attempted to put spokes, they actually placed feathers. They actually placed feathers on the numerous amount of pipeline projects that the past administration had geared and ready, grants waiting to do projects in Grenada. As I always say, ladies and gentlemen, if the NNP had won the last general election, God hear me, I don't know. By now, so I believe we are on plane. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is an administration that openly admitted of the many projects they stated. Imagine, with all the projects that are being done now and they're not initiated by them, and there's so many things that are happening from them, they tell the Grenadian people there were only six projects in Grenada that had 0% initiated. 6. A government ruled for 10 years. A government ruled for 10 years. And I'm speaking from the 2013 election, before they took office. 10 years. And you can only mention to our people that there were 6 projects that had 0 initiation. But all the other projects was all geared and ready and going. The Monkuma project. The Monkuma project, when they got into office, was 98%. Yeah? The Molyneux project, in terms of its negotiation and the processes, was already on their way. Brother Cox explained it night and day to the Grenadian people. Yeah? What about the project at the National Stadium? The refurbishing, again, initiated. The project at the airport, again, initiated and well on its way. Crest, if I may mention, again, well on its way. Paid from since the time Grenada noticed that, listen to me, that was a natural disaster to me. Dr. Mitchell said, I don't know who is going to be in office thereafter, but I'm not leaving them with that strain. A leader of true vision. He did business if a hurricane passed 50 years thereafter. He didn't care if a hurricane passed, if his government was in power or not. He took the initiative as a man to stand up and say, listen to me, I am joining an insurance so for whoever takes office later on, if we were to face with something like that again after Hurricane Ivan, they are in the best position. And they sat in a ceremony and collect millions of dollars on a project, on an insurance that was initiated by the man they call a devil. And if he's the devil, give me 2 devils too. The only time they blame the new National Party is when they are left to give a come to the states. That's the only time NNP bad. That is the only time NNP bad. You hear the most thing about NNP. As I played the clip yesterday, Prime Minister could have stood up and mentioned, as it relates to CJ managerial, he gave a whole outline as it relates to what he believed at the time the NNP was corrupt, they was bad. Prime Minister Mitchell take vote here and he bring it across so and put it in the ministry and it sound good. And the people there at the bottom, whoa, what, whoa, and he calling numbers. $60 and $20 million within the Prime Minister ministry. And he go on with numbers. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not over until the fat lady sings. To date, the truth has been told. They are now responsible for paying in excess or close to or more than $100,000 to CJ Managerial. So I tell all you, they will never speak when things are against them, when they are left to give account to our country. That is the most quiet time the NDC gets. But as I say, let something break out about NNP. Every social media platform, every media house, yeah? Every day they turn on the TV and the radio, NNP on a program, and they're talking for the people of this country. And then you hear they say, they form a party there, and this one form a party over there, and the church and the non-governmental organization. Just before the carnival vacation or festivities, a bill surfaced within the state. Ladies and gentlemen, as a father, a young father, I'm a little boy in the father thing. And I know there are older persons than me that are fathers and mothers. Somehow or the other, I think that Cole wants to give me a little run for my money. But it's me and you tonight. They are older parents than I am. And many of us are sitting back and not understanding that bill that the government of Grenada is looking to pass, if not passed properly as yet. As one person would have posted, so you're telling me as a parent, I should not be aware that my 12-year-old decides it's time for access for contraceptive, without having a conversation with me or aunt or grandmother. She must just walk into the clinic or the pharmacy and purchase the use of it. Now let me tell you something. As a parent, you may know the effects of your children. And the second line speaks to it. What if there is an allergic reaction and I have to take her to the hospital? Yeah? How will I know that she, for example, had an IUD inserted when I am facing questions during the medical review? Now, what is funny enough? That I have to take my child to the doctor when they have a headache or pain in their back or the shoulder or thereabout. My 12-year-old, 13-year-old, I can take them to the doctor. But when it comes to anything sexually related, they can do it on their own. We know there is an issue or issues that are being faced by our children, but why at the age of 12? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a heavy adult responsibility. Wives and have conversation with their husbands, not their mother and their father only. Wives sometimes sit with family members and say, listen to me, this is the decision I'm wanting to make. This is what I'm thinking about doing. And as an adult, so at this stage, the big boys now are in a stage where they're going to have sexual relationship with the young ones, and they will tell them, "Nah, man, go and get it. You could get it now, you're big enough." Now, persons are looking at it as you're trying to demonize the bill. But ladies and gentlemen, the bill gives to our age the responsibility of an adult. I can have my 12-year-old making the same decision that my wife or girlfriend or mother should be making on her own or his own? No, when it initially came up, again, and the people are saying, but this is a bit alarming. Prime Minister sit in his DM with the PM and he say, what is the noise? The previous administration is the ones who put it there. The regular answer, not we. They want to make noise, but it's them that put it there. But you called on the concern and care of the people, stating that you believe that your governance and your ability to govern is better than what was there. So why keep and continue vocalizing in my head that, oh, NNP, 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 and NNP this and NNP that, in excess of 3 years of the general election, you're still hearing NNP and NNP. You place a bill in front of me, and it was written by a previous administration. And I'm looking at it now and I'm saying to myself, when you looked at CJ's managerial and the contract, you saw all its faults. You saw all its shortcomings. You saw all kind of backlash in it, all kind of thing you saw in it. And you say, listen to me, the civil society say we don't want them. Because the past administration moved the vote to the Prime Minister's office and you made it sound good. Yeah? You made it sound good. But then a bill come in front of you. A bill made by the same previous administration. A bill in which the same previous administration, in whom they can create maliciously manhandle the economy and the state of Grenada, they would have footed a bill. As you said, they were the one doing it. And I listened to you, nobody told me. You said that the time it happened was the same time, just around the same time that you would have got elected as the leader of the NDC. And it happened at this place in Bolio up there. I heard you. Nobody tell me. Think about me. I just listen to them and all I got is that I didn't rum shop conversation. I hearing. The caller called and they asked about it. And then you started explaining that at the time Delma Thomas was the minister responsible. Nobody tell me I hear it firsthand. I heard it firsthand. Nobody will tell me. I hear what you say. Not too long after, I think in that very same program, Ziggy called on that program too. So nobody tell me. I know. So you saw all the faults with CJ's managerial, but saw nothing wrong in that present bill. What are you trying to fool? You ain't gonna fool me. I just always say that openly. They ain't fooling me and will never fool me. This present administration. They will never fool me. The tricks they have, I have it. The education and knowledge they have, I have it. Some of them don't have it. That's the facts. Not me that say SU. Yeah? But the fact of the matter remains, ladies and gentlemen, and we need to pay particular attention to this. Why every time the nation speaks and asks the question of your accountability and your administration, the first thing that comes up is the NNP, the past administration. The past administration. If you don't see the trickery in that yet, then see it very fast. If you don't see the trick in it yet, see it fast. This is an administration that would play the blame game up until the next general election, trying to regurgitate every time mentally. The NNP did that, and the NNP did that, and the NNP did that. And always speaking, only 23 years, and the 23 years. In the 23 years, you can mark the changes within our landscape. We can mark the changes within our landscape. Our healthcare system did not move the needle for the past 2.5 years. The needle has not been moved. It wasn't my word. There are times, ladies and gentlemen, you attempt to kill what you or who you consider to be the villain, and you will make that individual a hero. And this is what is unfolding here. These people are attempting so bad to make NNP look bad. The NNP and Kid Michel look bad. And then the intelligent people are vocalizing out there. And they're realizing that who you are attempting to make the villain is turning out to be the hero. Because if at the end of the day, you said all was bad, nothing was good, and then you can come thereafter and speak of a treasury that was pregnant. You can speak of bills that was footed by them. You can speak about project that was in pipeline by them. You can speak about projects and grants and fundings that you met in the treasury by them. At the end of the day, the people with the true vision are seeing who the real heroes are. They are now seeing who the real heroes are. Because every time you come up with a conversation and you try to make the NNP look bad, the NNP can step forward and say, that is not so. You try to make yourself look good with your oil and gas conversation, and it was immediately shut down. Immediately. And instead of being a man, instead of being a grown man and stepping forward and say, I was wrong, you know what you did? You choose to remain quiet. I think that when you said that there was no document on oil and gas, that was on a need-to-know basis. Yeah? But when the rebut came, and the gentleman left where he left and came there and go in the cabinet and tell you which cabinet and whatever, and you found the document, at the time, it was not on a need-to-know basis by the general public that they were actual documents on oil and gas. And at the end of the day, the people that you attempted to make look like the villains, the truth is, they were the actual heroes. The NNP was very, very vivid, comprehensive, and accountable in ensuring that the people's business concerning oil and gas were made available on its immediate request. On its most immediate request. when you would have asked proudly that if any one of them know where the document is, come and get it. Or minister, past minister, parliamentarian, Brother Bowen, stepped forward and he said, here I am. He said, here I am. To date, ladies and gentlemen, nothing has been said. No one has come forward and gave anything about what the document that Brother Bowen made available to them. But what we got thereafter was a whole press conference held at the Trade Center speaking on the same oil and gas when there was no document that was left there before. All you ain't fooling me. All you ain't fooling me. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we, the NNP, want to remind you guys of and remind the general public of. Things of those nature. We want to remind you guys of those things. Don't sleep on them. Don't sleep on them. Because you know what the saying says. When you sleep, you slide. Yeah? And the road inclusion, when we say it is deplorable and it needs fixing, they say, hey, long NNP had to do it. Eh? They sleep on it. They sleep on the road inclusion. What happened? He slide. NNP supporters, this is your wake-up call and your reminder that we are just maybe months away from a general election. Ladies and gentlemen, the sound echo is empty at the foot of the barrel. The noise we make in the barrel, we're hearing it below. So the empty ones around them that we're hearing, they are the empty barrels. That is what we're hearing. They're just making noise. Look on their pages. See if they're posting anything productive about their government. No. Wendy, Maguire, Ophelia, Detroit Mitchell, Carla. Those are the things they're posting. Because they can't post nothing substantiable. They can't post substantiable quotes and success of their government. And so their only plot is defamation and character assassination. And this one is a thief, and this one is a hoe, and this one mother do this, and this one father do this. There is nothing substantiable coming from them because their government is non-performance. They can post a nice project their government initiated. They can post something productive from their government. And so all they look to do is call people all kind of name. Only recently I get to know I don't even know where I know about washing machine. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I was very vague and I was very loud to answer the call. Went home and I took pictures and I posted. I had to let them know that when they go in the mud, they could go in the mud with them. But when I put on my jacket and tie, they can't walk in that room. They can't walk in the room with the jacket and tie. Because their intellectual concept and understanding is very low. And so, to be amongst the Hefe, they can't walk there. They can't walk there. See the mud behavior? They're real good. They good in the mud behavior. They could go down in the mud. They could drag themselves. They good there. But the minute time you put them in a conversation that requires intelligence, you're mad, you're hearing bubble, bye-bye, all kind of thing, because that is not their way. But the vulgarity the misconduct, the defamation, the allegation, the body. But type in the comment section, name 10 achievements of your administration. NNP there for 23 years, they don't do nothing. Name something or projects that are happening from St. George's Northwest to St. Patrick's East. Move there, Kid Mitchell is a thief. They don't answer the question yet. Tell me something that the government has done for the Ministry of Education to take out persons as regularization or regularize the workers and contractors. Move there, Kid Mitchell, they long, you don't give them nothing. They can have a conversation of productivity. So that's why I say something when they get galley, I get in galley faster than them. Because I know that when I put a productive comment, a conversation, they can't answer it. They don't read, they don't research nothing. They don't read, they don't research nothing. They just come for bacchanal. But I just tell people, I can be the acolyte and I can be the asshole. Real fast. Real fast. And they know me so well that sometimes when they come, they have to make comments other places. Ever realize that my page, they don't come? Ladies and gentlemen, I's a Veco. Ask about me, I'm from Victoria, I's a Veco. And when I put on my clogs and my mask, I don't almost put on gams. Just the clogs and the mask. I know how to chant. And they know I know how to chant, so they don't come in. They making comment all over, so. Yeah? Ladies and gentlemen, as you noticed, I've been a little bit muffled. And as I said, I'm hoping that this cold is not, this flu is not attempting to, jump on my back. I've heard a lot of person talk about it. Started having a little runny nose and so on. And I'm perspiring a bit. But, as I said, my commitment to do this has grown. Yeah, around the carnival season. I know I stepped back a little bit, and that is due to many persons who were around. You will have noticed that I've been with the MTV where I work, doing programs, and sometimes it's hard to use that voice so much in the morning and then jump in the evening again and use that voice, and then sometimes when I finish here, I have to go somewhere else and maybe do some other program and so on and so forth. Yeah. Again, as you guys see this year, I jumped on the back with the traditional mass in St. Mark's with again, there's a story for itself. But anyway, sometimes when you're blessed, you're just blessed. Yeah. And your talent or your ability cannot be shown. Yeah, no matter how they try. All right. But as I said, I have taken a stance, and I want you guys to understand, if you look and listen on the ground, the probability of a very soon election is being echoed. Yeah? And so we want to start giving the information, reminding persons of registration, reminding persons to check your voters list, reminding persons to get young registered voters to get on board. Listen to the conversation. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, the next general election is not just about going to campaign and jump up. Yeah? The next general election is not about going into election and jump up. Our next general election would steadfastly lay on comparing and comparison. Listen to them. And we're starting this. Place any 5 years, any 4 years, 4.5 years, whenever amount of time they call election, place any of that time compared to the new national party's regime and their governance or their time in power, and you will see what I'm talking about. There is no comparison. Very little or none. Ladies and gentlemen, there are certain constituencies that can't have a conversation about nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing is happening in certain constituencies. And I'm telling you from St. George's Northwest, and I would say that because that's my area. I'm from the western side of the island. from St. George's northwest to St. Patrick's east. And maybe if you go over to the St. Andrews area, you will see what I'm talking about. When you hear things are happening, listen to where they're happening. St. David's, the south of the island. That is Grenada. See all the projects and all where the things are happening. Look at them for yourself. I don't need to come and tell you guys. Look at it for yourself. Go on to GIS. And then they say a project happening there. And a project are we going to start with? They say something going on. Are we distributing something? St. David's, South St. George. We're building this. St. David's, South St. George. We have persons coming in. The thing. St. David's, South St. George. Should be told. Should be told. Persons coming in Grenada and they remember when I think the persons from the UK came and concerning the project on the bridge. Yeah? We brought them up in Guav. Chinese were in Livera. Yeah? Out from the St. George's area. When investors come, we allow them to invest in many places. We didn't stay in town. The Six Sense Hotel. Yeah? We didn't stay in town, and even if we're in St. George's, we still did not stay in the south. And are daily investors in areas, all those places. Compare and contrast, ladies and gentlemen. And truth will be told in your own vision. These fellas and them that set as slackers. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I am already 27 minutes. Yeah, man, we gotta do that, Merita. Alright? So, ladies and gentlemen, wow. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's 28 minutes on past your 7 already. We know that the talking point program would be up next, and I don't want to go too much again into any form of conversation. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of this evening's program. It is one where I'm just going to cut off because and I would have to have those issues fixed for tomorrow, because tomorrow will be a pre-recording. As I did mention to you guys, tomorrow will be a pre-recording, and it will be on at least either 5:15 or 5:20 thereabout. Yeah, or could be more than likely 5:15, because we don't want to go into the 6:30 hour. I may do 5:15 to 6, so it just might be a 45 minutes pre-recording. Yeah, and that is because we do have the program, the meeting tomorrow. The National Party will be having the meeting tomorrow, and so it will be aired from 6:30. But however, at 6:30, you can come back onto this page and also my YouTube page, and you will be able to get a live stream, yes, of the meeting. So the program itself, my recording, would come on from 5:15 to 6, and then the the live stream of the meeting would be at 6:30. Yeah. So even if you're not getting it on the NMP page or wherever, you can definitely come back here, and even on my YouTube page, it will be posted. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, I want to say have a good evening to the persons that are celebrating birthdays or wedding anniversary, whatever it is. I want to say happy birthday to you and congratulations. All right. God's blessings to each and every one of you. I'm going to see you again tomorrow, God's willing. I love you guys. Stay safe. And whatever you do, remember, do it to the best of your ability. Thank you so very much. I was your host, Ross James.